The CIA says it is looking for revenge after a suicide bomber on a base in Afghanistan killed 7 agents.
A suicide attack against American CIA agents in Afghanistan.
A suicide attack killed 7 CIA operatives at an American outpost in Khost, Afghanistan.
This was the biggest intelligence failure in the history of the American Central Intelligence Agency. An attack so devastating that it led to an internal inquiry inside the CIA to find out who was responsible for the operation that resulted in the loss of 7 highly important CIA officers, including Jennifer Matthews, who had been tracking al-Qaeda terrorists since she began her career in the mid-1990s. By 2009, the CIA had been operating in Afghanistan for nearly a decade as part of Operation Enduring Freedom. As part of its post-9/11 counter-terrorism mandate, the agency maintained several field posts across the country. One of the most critical was Camp Chapman, located near the southeastern city of Khost, close to the border with Pakistan's tribal areas. Originally a military base, Camp Chapman had been repurposed by the CIA as a hub for human intelligence operations, focusing on recruiting assets with connections to al-Qaeda and the Taliban. The base also supported the agency's drone program that hunted senior terrorist leaders in Afghanistan and Pakistan and facilitated coordination with regional intelligence partners. Jennifer Matthews had recently been appointed chief of base at Chapman. A former analyst with deep knowledge of al-Qaeda's structure and personnel, she had spent much of her career in the counter-terrorist center at Langley. Her assignment to Khost marked a significant shift from her previous desk-based work to the high-stakes world of field operations. By late 2009, she was overseeing one of the agency's most active outposts in the war zone. At the center of Camp Chapman's focus in late 2009 was a Jordanian doctor named Humam Khalil al Balawi. A Palestinian by origin, al-Balawi had been known for his participation in extremist blog forums and his writings in support of jihadist ideology. In 2007, he was arrested by Jordanian intelligence, known as the General Intelligence Directorate, and shortly afterward, his handlers introduced him to the CIA as a potential asset. Al-Balawi agreed, and in the months that followed, he began feeding reports to his Jordanian handlers. Soon, he attracted the attention of the CIA, who believed that he had gained proximity to al-Qaeda's senior leadership. He was ordered to develop a close relationship with the leader of the Pakistani Taliban, Hakimullah Masood, who was believed to have been sheltering Ayman al-Zawahiri, al-Qaeda's number 2. The CIA viewed him as a breakthrough source in a region where reliable intelligence was hard to come by. Over the following months, al-Balawi provided information that appeared to align with known intelligence. His reports contained specific details about movements and safe houses in the tribal regions of Pakistan. This further cemented his credibility in the eyes of CIA field officers. Analysts at headquarters, along with Matthews and her team at Camp Chapman, began to believe that al-Balawi might be on the verge of locating al-Zawahiri himself. In December 2009, al-Balawi offered to meet his handlers in person. The CIA saw this as a potential turning point. A face-to-face meeting would not only allow them to validate his information, but also demonstrate the agency's willingness to support and trust its high-value assets. Jennifer Matthews approved the meeting to take place inside Camp Chapman. Believing that the potential intelligence justified the risk, the team waived standard security protocols, including physical searches, in order to not offend the source or jeopardize the relationship. On the afternoon of December 30th, 2009, Humam al-Balawi arrived at the gate of Camp Chapman in a convoy accompanied by Jordanian intelligence officer Sharif Ali bin Zaid. He was ushered past the outer security layers and into the heart of the base, where a group of CIA officers and contractors were waiting to receive him. As he exited the vehicle, the officers waiting for him got suspicious because he had both of his hands in his pockets. This was the exact moment al-Balawi was waiting for. He detonated a suicide vest hidden under his clothing. The explosion was immediate and devastating.
This could come to you through unexpected way. Look, this is for you. It's not watch. It's detonator to kill as much as I can.
Another major story this evening, Afghanistan, where a grim portrait is emerging tonight of the bomber who dressed up as an Afghan soldier, made his way onto a CIA outpost and then blew himself up.
This bomber was actually a regular CIA informant.
The fact that he was able to get access to the individuals that he did suggests that this was not only his intent, but that there must have been some sort of a trusted relationship with that individual.
7 CIA personnel and contractors were killed on the spot, along with the Jordanian officer and al-Balawi himself. Among the dead was Jennifer Matthews, the chief of base. Also killed were Harold Brown Jr., Darren Labonte, Scott Robertson, Elizabeth Hansen, Jamie Nicholas, and Jeremy Wise. Several others were injured. It was the single deadliest day for the CIA since the 1983 U.S. Embassy bombing in Beirut. In the days that followed, the agency launched a comprehensive internal review to understand what had gone wrong. The inquiry found multiple failures, including over-reliance on an unvetted asset, the suspension of security procedures, and poor coordination between headquarters and field officers. While there was no evidence of malice or negligence, the report made clear that a combination of optimism, operational pressure, and procedural shortcuts had contributed to the tragedy. CIA Director Leon Panetta publicly acknowledged the loss and stated that the internal report had identified shortcomings across several parts of the agency. He confirmed that warnings about the double agent had not been shared, and that security measures at Forward Operating Base Chapman were insufficient to handle high-risk assets. One of the most troubling aspects of the review came from external reporting. According to the BBC's Steve Kingstone, Jordanian intelligence had warned the CIA nearly a month before the attack that al-Balawi might in fact be a double agent working for al-Qaeda. However, that warning, relayed to the CIA officers stationed in Jordan, was never passed on to the field officers at Camp Chapman. This oversight was viewed internally as a critical lapse in communication. Analysts later concluded that had the information been shared in time, the decision to allow al-Balawi inside the base without proper screening might have been reconsidered, or the meeting avoided altogether. The attack at Camp Chapman had far-reaching implications for the agency's operations in Afghanistan and Pakistan. It disrupted several intelligence networks, strained relations with Jordanian intelligence, and set back efforts to locate al-Qaeda's senior leadership. But it also forced the CIA to take a more cautious approach to human intelligence. Jennifer Matthews was posthumously awarded the Distinguished Intelligence Cross, one of the highest honors in the CIA. While her decision-making in Khost was subject to internal debate, her contributions to counter-terrorism over a 14-year career were widely recognized within the agency. The events at Camp Chapman are now studied as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the high risks involved in intelligence work, the unpredictable nature of human sources, and the fine line between trust and vulnerability in the world of espionage.